Hey guys, let's get more news about Steelers, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Adam Schefter projects Steelers' imminent plans with Justin Fields, Russell Wilson. The Pittsburgh Steelers have won 2 games with Justin Fields starting behind center. But Russell Wilson was supposed to start at quarterback for the Steelers to begin this season. It's still not clear when Wilson could make his return from his calf injury. Even if he is ready to play in Week 3, though, Fields might remain Pittsburgh's starting quarterback. That's what ESPN's Adam Schefter essentially predicted during his weekly appearance on The Pat McAfee Show on September 16. The language Mike Tomlin used suggested, obviously, that he's not worrying about Russell right now. Russell is not fully healthy. Russell is working his way back, and as long as that's the case, Justin is the guy, said Schefter. Look, you're not going to take the guy out of the lineup when you're winning football games. I don't care that he isn't lighting it up with the numbers. They're 2-0. The Steelers have won 2 games, with Fields throwing just 273 yards and 1 touchdown this season. But the 25-year-old quarterback has been very efficient, completing 69.8% of his passes without any interceptions. Fields has also not lost a fumble in the first 2 weeks of the season. Schefter's prediction is in line with what the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette's Jerry Dulac reported ahead of the team's matchup in Denver. On September 13, Dulac wrote that the Steelers plan to start Fields in each of the next 2 games. Dulac added that the team constructed this plan so Wilson can continue to rest his calf. But Dulac acknowledged that by then, the Steelers could be 3-0 with Fields behind center. That remains a possibility because of the team's 13-6 Week 2 victory against the Denver Broncos. Schefter argued there isn't a sensible scenario where the Steelers bench Fields if the team improves to 3-0 or better. They are winning the way they should be winning. They are running the football, they are playing unbelievable defense. He's played good, smart football, Schefter said of Fields. He is incredibly well liked in that organization, well respected. They're not going to go away from that right now. Russell is getting healthy, but you're not going to take a quarterback who is winning, I don't think, and put him on the bench when Justin Fields is playing pretty well. Schefter made more than a fair point. It doesn't matter much that the Steelers' offense has scored only 1 touchdown because the team has won its first 2 games. But in the modern NFL, teams typically don't win for long the way Pittsburgh is currently winning. And while the Steelers did open with 2 road games, they played 2 opponents who haven't been to the postseason for a long time. Will the Steelers' defense be able to play this well against better quarterbacks? More importantly, will Fields be able to lead the Steelers' offense to more points in games where they need to score? Right now, Fields isn't losing games for the Steelers. But he isn't necessarily winning them either. He's averaging career lows of 6.3 yards per pass, 136.5 passing yards per game and 3.8 yards per carry. Fields could remain in the starting lineup as long as the Steelers are winning, regardless of Wilson's health status. But if he wants to stay the team's starter even after his first loss of 2024, then he probably has to move the ball with more consistency going forward. RB Najee Harris sounds off on Steelers offense, it's the same. The Pittsburgh Steelers improved to 2-0 after defeating the Denver Broncos 13-6 in Week 2. But Steelers running back Najee Harris was less than pleased with the team's offensive performance. While the Steelers scored their first touchdown of the season, they punted on 6 of their 7 second-half possessions. The Steelers had 62 offensive yards after halftime. Following the game, Harris forcefully explained to reporters what the offense needs to do to find its footing this season. It's tough for the running backs but, we just have to execute on these passes, said Harris, via the Pat McAfee Show correspondent Mark Kaboly. It's the same, we just have to execute. We aren't being conservative, we are just, ourselves. We make a play and get a penalty that pushes us back and gets us off schedule. The plays you want to run you can't run anymore because it is 2nd and 12. Through the first 2 games of the 2024 season, the Steelers have committed 10 penalties on offense. That includes 6 offensive holding penalties, which is the second most in the NFL. The Steelers had 4 offensive holding penalties and 1 false start against the Broncos. Although the Steelers opened the 2024 season with 2 road wins, the offense has been less than stellar. That was particularly the case in the second half against the Broncos. Pittsburgh had an opportunity to run away with the game. Granted, Denver only had 1 possession in the second half when it was without 1 score, but the Steelers scored just 3 points in the half. Through 8 quarters this season, the Steelers have 1 touchdown. Harris argued that the offense's issues aren't necessarily what opposing defenses are doing to slow down the team's offense. According to Harris, the Steelers are doing it to themselves. We've got to find a way to stop beating ourselves up. We've got to find a way to stop doing the false starts, we've got to find a way to convert on certain downs, we've got to find a way to stay on schedule, not lose yards, Harris told reporters. Even if the play's not blocked the right way, just try to get no negative yards. Try to stay on schedule to make it 2nd and 10 instead of 2nd and 15. Steelers encouraged to sign former Eagles starter immediately. In a September 16 article for Bleacher Report, writer and NFL expert Matt Holder notes that it was a humble week 2 for the Steelers. He also names a former Philadelphia Eagles player who he says the team should add now. In the article, titled Prioritizing Each Roster's Biggest Weaknesses Before Week 3, Holder suggests adding linebacker Zach Cunningham to the Steelers roster. He has Cunningham under the Add Now designation. Cunningham could at least help slow down the running game, so it might be worth keeping him on the practice squad at least as a just-in-case option. Cunningham was selected by the Houston Texans in the 2nd round of the 2017 NFL Draft as the 57th overall pick. The Texans released Cunningham in December 2021, and the Tennessee Titans claimed him off waivers the same month. Texas waived him in February 2023, and the Eagles signed Cunningham in August 2023. He became a free agent in March 2023. In a September 14 article for Section 215, writer Devin Platana discusses former players of the Eagles who are free agents, including Cunningham. He had some not-so-flattering things to say about the linebacker's time with the Eagles. Zach Cunningham only spent 1 season with the Eagles, and it was forgettable, to say the least, he wrote. The former 2017 selection, 57th overall, recorded 54 solo tackles, 4 pass breakups and 1 fumble recovery in 13 games with Philadelphia, without managing to do anything memorable. His play also worsened as the season progressed, as he finished with a Pro Football Focus defensive grade of 59.6 or worse in 6 of his last 9 games. Platana added, ultimately, Cunningham is an inconsistent tackler and pass rusher who also has his struggles in coverage. Until he can prove he can play a more complete game, his job opportunities will be few and far between. Also in Holder's article, he suggests that the Steelers target Los Angeles Rams forward Tutu Atwell in 2024 NFL free agency. Meanwhile, Steelers also has several other players whose contracts are about to expire and could be a priority. But if the wideout isn't retained, the offense will need a deep threat on the wing. He concluded. And you, fan? What do you think of the situation of Zach Cunningham? Leave your opinion in the comments.